So after the White House article, I had Nicholas and Julia read the Tim Tebow article. Again, I used this one as my main component to test prior knowledge and motivation versus reading level. Again, before I keep going, I hypothesized that Nicholas would actually perform better on the comprehension test than Julia. The first 4 questions I gave them, I started off with basic recall questions. The first I asked Tim Tebow is, they both answered a quarterback for the Broncos, correct. The next one was a true or false, saying Tebow usually runs the ball himself or gives it to another player to run with. They both answered true, which is again correct. The next question was Tim Tebow is criticized for. They both said his lack of refined skills, which again was correct. The last recall question, or the last multiple choice recall question I gave them was true-false. It stated the Broncos' offensive line and defense helped Tebow out to produce wins, and the answer is true. They both answered correct. Next, I asked a short answer, and that was why to some people is Tim Tebow considered a joke to the NFL? They both answered very solid answers. Ew. Does that make any sense? They both answered. The next question I gave them was a short answer question, and it was, why to some people is Tim Tebow considered a joke to the NFL? Julia answered that it's because they think his winning streak is just luck. It's going to end soon. Again, liked her answer, very thought out. Definitely correct. Nicholas answered because he's a rookie quarterback and people didn't think he'd be very good in the NFL. And that, it's just luck in college. And again, both had the exact same depth of processing. I was very happy with both answers. Next question was, why do people criticize him if he wins games? They both said because of luck. So again, same answer, correct. Next question was, what can we take away or learn from reading this article? They both answered in some way, shape, or form, to not give up, to ignore what people say about you, and, to follow what you want to do. And, again, that's very high level evaluation and analyzation and deeper thinking, so happy with both. Next short answer was, what can we learn or take away from the criticism that Tebow receives? And they both said that, they both answered along the lines that, they look up to him for, shaking it off and continuing to play and doing what he does best. Next short answer was, if Tebow ran a regular NFL-type offense, he most likely would do bad. Would he still be criticized then? They both said yes, and what amazed me was the fact that even Nicholas didn't talk about the game. They talked about the fact that, no matter what, Tebow's going to be criticized, and the fact that, he has to push through that, and, if he's winning games, to keep on going. And then for the last short answer, I asked what they thought about Tim Tebow. Julia answered that she thinks he's awesome because he doesn't let people say influence him. And Nicholas said that he thinks he's a great quarterback and will be a great quarterback in his future career, and that, he admires that he looks past what people say and plays the game. So, I was really impressed by both their answers, and, to me, they both in this article read at the exact same reading level and comprehended just as highly as each other, which really surprised me. I was actually expecting Nicholas to do better, but the fact that his reading level is low was going to hinder him. But at the same time, I think there's a lot to take away from the fact that they both did just as well on that article.
You can talk about the pit, barbecue, the band was jumping, the people too, I mess around.
The most important thing I've taken away from this case study in connection with our class is the fact of the strengths that are needed between the balance of the reading, the text, and the activity. Students who are more motivated to learn and to read are going to do better overall. Students who, have more information and prior knowledge about what they're reading and learning, again, are going to do better. I've seen this in the case study. Golda and Graves have talked about it. We've talked about it all during class. Just the balance is so important, and motivation and prior knowledge are so key to that balance. The more important and influential they are, the better your students are going to do, and I think that's important for all students and teachers, future teachers, to take away. I was really excited to do this case study. Just being able to actually test and see how important motivation, prior knowledge, and background knowledge are, is such a key thing for me to see as a future teacher. I did expect Nicholas to come out completely on top, but the fact that he read just as well as Julia did made me just as excited and just as hopeful for what I can do in a classroom in the future. It really opened my eyes to the fact that, if you do get kids motivated and activate what they already know, the sky's the limit for the expectations that you can have for them and what they can accomplish. From this, I don't see why it isn't possible to give students more autonomy in their choices of selection of readings or selection of activities that they do or topics that they study. Why not give them that choice and get them motivated, and they can choose topics that they know more info about to make it more easier and relatable for them to complete what you would like them to do. So I think this was a really important study for me to see, and I'm really glad that I did it.
I declare she can mess around.